Hi, my name is Devi. It is such a great opportunity to present my research work. I will start this presentation by explaining why I need to conduct this research. As computer science class sizes increases everywhere, providing timely feedback on computing students' code quality and style becomes more difficult. So, how do we provide feedback to students? One scalable approach is to use peer review. It is a well-established collaborative learning activity where students provide feedback on their peers' work. In the programming classes, peer review activities involve students reviewing each other's code, or known as peer code review. A huge body of literature in the educational research area has reported the benefit of peer review in general or peer review of programming code. Despite the benefits, some challenges has been reported, and one of the main challenges in peer code review activities is the students' low motivation. Some students do not enthusiastically review peers' work, some of them submitting the review task late, some of them rushing through the review tasks or complete fewer reviews. The students' lack of motivation or engagement can hamper the benefits of peer code review. Therefore, we aim to address this problem. In the education and other areas, such as health or business, the research of gamification has been successfully promote motivation and engagement of the participants. Gamification concept is not new. It uses some underlying theories such as motivation theory in order to increase intrinsic or external motivation through rewards that may influence changes in behavior. Gamification is defined by datating as the use of game elements such as points, badges, leaderboards, or levels in a non-game environment to motivate people to participate in desired ways or to drive participants' behavior. In everyday life, we have seen some example on gamification. It's commonly used in websites where users might be rewarded with points or badges for engaging in certain activities such as doing several tasks in a row. Because of its potential to increase motivation that can lead to changes in behavior, we intend to use gamification approach in our research. This thesis proposes gamification as an approach to engage specific behavior of undergraduate computing students in peer review activities, particularly peer review of programming code. Therefore, our main research goal is to investigate how gamification can impact students' behavior in peer code review activities. To address our main research question, we explore two different areas, which are the peer review in education and gamification in education. We break down our main research question into three research questions. In general, this diagram shows some research work that we have done to address these three research questions. To address the first research question, we conducted a systematic review of peer code review to investigate how peer review of source code has been implemented in programming courses. The findings from this review were used to guide the design of a novel peer code review tool and associated gamification mechanics. In this review, we report on the various motivation and variety implementation of peer code review in programming courses, as well as several benefits and barriers associated with its use. We find evidence that a lack of students' motivation is a barrier to peer code review. To address the second research question, we conducted a systematic review of gamified peer review activities. This review investigated how gamification of peer review has been implemented in educational settings. The evidence gathered from this systematic lead review suggests that gamification can be used to improve students' motivation when participating in peer review activities. According to the literature, gamification can influence students to submit more artifacts and to increase the number of tasks completed during the peer review activities. Moreover, we discover evidence from the systematic lead review that only a few studies attempt to gamify peer review of source code. This finding suggests opportunities for further exploration. The third research question aims to connect the findings from previous research question and investigate how this relates. And in this last research question, we investigate the impact of gamification on students' behavior in three experimental studies which were conducted in Indonesia. We designed and developed the tool that used gamification and ran three formal studies with control and gamification groups to evaluate the impact of the game elements and mechanics on several targeted behavior in P-code review activities. We designed a P-code review tool that has several main features with respect to peer review model. This peer review model has been refined from the original model developed by Hema. The language used in the tool were Bahasa Indonesia and English. During the P-code review activities, students can act as authors, reviewers, and raters. They remain anonymous to one another within the tool. First, the feature allows students to upload programming source files. By logging in and go to the assignment menu, authors can see the description of the assignment and upload programming source file directly, which they would have developed in the chosen programming environment. For ArcB and ArcC, reviewers can view and review code submission they have been assigned. In the review menu, students can see the list of compulsory and optional review tasks. Students start the review by clicking the Start Review button. They can then preview or download the source code for a submission before assessing it. A set of predefined criteria is available to assist students when they review the code, in which students provide numeric scores on 1 to 5 scale for each criterion and provide a holistic comment. A tick icon indicates that the review has been successfully submitted. Once the feedback has been submitted by a reviewer, the author of the code can access the feedback. The feedback menu allows an author to view the feedback they receive from reviewers. A feedback list shows the feedback received by an author from reviewers. By selecting one of the feedback lists, the authors can read the review details, including the score for each assessment criterion and any comments. There are no elements within the tool that force the author to reflect on this feedback. Next, for ArcE and ArcF, the feature of the tool allows raters to view and review the feedback. In this case, raters can be authors or reviewers. As an author in ArcE, the author can view the feedback they have received as explained in ArcD from the feedback menu. Then the authors can also rate the quality of the feedback by assigning a holistic 1 to 5 star rating and leaving an optional comment. As reviewers, through My Review menu, reviewers can access all the reviews they have submitted to their peers. By choosing one of the My Review lists, the reviewers can read the details of the review they have submitted and the feedback submitted by other reviewers to the same code submission they have reviewed. As reviewers, they can rate other reviews' work by assigning a holistic 1 to 5 star rating and adding an optional comment. Finally, for ArcG, reviewers can read the feedback or ratings from authors or other reviewers through My Review menu. The tool does not provide specific features that require this reflection on the feedback. Because reviewing is the main activities in P-code review, therefore the focus of our work is to gamify ArcC and ArcF. We design game elements and mechanics that could positively impact the behavior of students involved in P-code review activities. The majority of the targeted behaviors are motivating students on reviewing P-code code as the main important activity in P-code review. We have different mechanics to motivate students to change their behavior in submission time, reviewing more feedback, and producing higher quality of feedback. Besides those, we also encourage students to read and rate the feedback they have seen or received during the P-code review. We hypothesize that at a high level, gamification can lead to improvement in the quality, quantity, and timing of students' feedback in P-code review activities. Our first experimental study, we focus on 2 targeted behaviors: submit reviews early and submit more feedback. In this study, we encourage reviewers to reduce procrastination by submitting review works early so that the authors have more time to consider the feedback. We also encourage reviewers to submit more feedback so that they have opportunity improving their reviewing skill through practice and develop their programming-related skill. Furthermore, authors can receive more feedback and learn to accept criticism. We implemented point system where the number of points rewarded reduced over time to encourage students to submit their reviews earlier. Students were awarded points for each review they submitted. The earlier the review was submitted, the more points students earned for that review. To visualize the reducing point system, we use an energy bar that appears in the UI of the tool. The value of the bar reduced in 24 hours. We use leaderboard to display top 10 students based on the total points earned, so students could compete with others. We also give recognition to track students' achievement individually in the form of levels when they reach certain points. Besides those, we also use several badges to motivate students submitting higher number of reviews than required. We evaluate the use of gamification into different tasks, the peer review assignment 1 and peer review assignment 2. Students were required to submit a completed lab work and complete minimum 3 reviews to receive the participation mark. The effect of time-focused mechanics on the earliest submission time of reviewers did not show any significant difference. However, we found a significant number of students who submitted higher number of reviews in assignment 2. And we also found a significant number of reviews submitted by students in gamification group for both assignment 1 and assignment 2. In the second experimental study, we evaluate the time-focused mechanics to influence students spreading out their review works over a period of reviews time and evaluate the quantity-focused mechanics to influence students submitted higher number of feedback ratings. We encourage reviewers to spread out the time of review submission so that students can have idle time between reviews by distributing the time of review submission more evenly. This idle time may be useful for the code reviewers to read and reflect on the code and provide constructive feedback to code author. We also encourage authors or reviewers to read more feedback, because by rating received feedback as well as feedback from other reviewers, students can have the opportunity to reflect on the feedback and learn vicariously. We use battery game element that function as energy needed for completing a review submission. This game element is inspired by other similar submission energy that has been used in research work by Edward Stephen and in mobile games application. In our work, we designed the primary battery so that students could receive points for waiting a minimum period of time based on the recharging time of the battery before submitting each review. The backup battery was 0 points and always fully charged, therefore can be used anytime to submit the review work. We rewarded students with significant value at least 200 points to encourage students to spread their review works over time. We also aim to encourage for rating a higher number of feedback they receive or the feedback from other reviewers. Therefore, we designed several badges for completing certain number of rating activities. These badges can be used for reaching 1 to 6 levels and unlock new primary battery that worth more points and less recharging time. We hypothesize that the presence of the game element encourages students to spread their work over time and submit more ratings. We evaluate all the game elements in a practice review and to-be review assignments where students were required to submit a completed lab work and complete minimum 10 reviews to receive the participation mark. In this study, students receive points when a given period of time passed between the review submission, according to the battery recharging time. Despite the fact that students in the control group could not see the game element used in the tool, our analysis of log data in the control group uses the same formula as in the gamification group for comparative purposes. The result from the log data indicate that students in the gamification group affected by the time-focused mechanics. The mean number of points in the gamification group was significantly higher than the control group as results of spreading the review works according to the time of the primary battery recharging. The histogram here shows the points earned by each review in practice review tasks, peer review assignment 1 and peer review assignment 2. Not only there is a significant difference in the number of points, but also the pattern shown in the scatter plot in peer review assignment 1 here support the findings. We can see that each dot in the graph represents a review submitted by a reviewer on a given day. The green dots indicates that the review submission received 200 points as a result of students who choose to wait between reviews. Therefore, the pattern of the review submission in the gamification group resembles a green dotted diagonal submission pattern. For the mechanics that are related to the quantity mechanics, the results show a significant difference in the number of rating activities performed by students in the gamification group. The graphs show the frequency and the total ratings submitted by students in both groups. Finally, the last experimental study was to evaluate the effect of the quality-focused mechanics to the accuracy of students' review scores and the length and the quality of comments submitted by students. Feedback is essential for effective student learning. Therefore, we encourage students to provide high quality of reviews because student skill can be developed by being exposed to accurate and corrective feedback from peers. Also, comments that are detailed and provide specific suggestions can lead to actionable improvement on students' work. We implement mechanics so that students are rewarded with greater points when their review score is closer to a predefined review score from an instructor. To calculate the number of points earned for a review, we compute Euclidean distance between factor containing instructor scores and student scores for each criterion. 100 points is the highest score that represents complete agreement with the instructor scores. Students can also earn several badges for submitting perfect accurate reviews. In addition, we also rewarded students with points based on the length of the review comments they write, and with points and badges for writing comments that attracted high ratings from the author of the code. We hypothesize that the exposure to the game elements will encourage students to submit more accurate reviews for code examples and write longer, higher quality written reviews to their peers. To receive participation marks in practice review assignments, students will be required to review 5 code examples, and in peer review assignments, students will be required to submit a completed lab work and complete minimum 5 reviews. The result from the practice review task showed that the quality-focused mechanic did not affect students in the gamification to provide significantly accurate review scores compared to the control group. On the other hand, from the peer review task, we analyzed students' work and found that students in the gamification group wrote significantly longer comments than those in the control group. Additionally, after manually categorizing written comments into several categories, including general and specific categories, students in the gamification group provided significantly higher number of comments in all general and specific categories. We also found students in gamification groups significantly wrote higher number of comments, particularly in general positive, that pointing to general strength in the code, general advice, that suggesting to improve the code in general, and specific advice category that provides specific advice to authors on how to improve the code. Here are examples of student feedback for these 3 categories. According to the students' perception in the survey, we did not find significant difference in the overall quality of the feedback received and provided to peers. In summary, we have conducted 2 rigorous systematic lit reviews. We designed and developed gamified Picot review tool, and we have presented evidence from 3 randomized control studies with different cohorts from 3 large programming classes. From our research work, students have learned some knowledge and skill from the code review activities, as well as reading and writing feedback activities. Our findings demonstrate that gamification can motivate students to submit more reviews based on the submission of their reviews over a period of time, deliver more ratings, and submit written comments of a higher quality. Our result from the time and quantity focused mechanics indicates some unintended behavior, such that some students try to gaming the system. For example, by minimizing the time and effort spent on each review and submitting an excessive number of shorter comments in order to accumulate rewards. We also found unintended behavior such as rushing behavior. For example, students may attempt to rapidly write their reviews so that they can immediately start the primary battery recharging time after the review submission. Future research in this area should focus on increasing the efficacy of these techniques we present here. For example, we suggest for future work that time or quantity focused mechanics can be implemented alongside with the quality mechanics to prevent these undesirable behaviors that may impact the quality of reviews. We also suggest modifying the recharging of the battery at the start of the review activity to avoid the rushing behavior and adding a grace period to complete the review to remove any incentive to complete reviews as rapidly as possible. Therefore, students can make use of the time to write good quality of reviews. Overall, our research has contributed 5 publications in 3 journal venues and 2 conferences. We also have designed and developed gamified code review tool. Thank you.